Welcome to the studio. This is one of the very first production Snapmaker U1s to come off of the assembly line. In fact, this one came express from China directly here. This isn't a beta or an early prototype. This is the actual machine that Kickstarter backers are going to get. Full disclosure, this video is not a review. It's just my first impressions. In fact, I haven't had the machine very long at all, but I wanted to get some content out there to kind of share my excitement about this and reassure those people who backed it. Now, there is so much hype behind this machine, and sometimes it makes me a little bit nervous when these show up, because I want them to work just as badly as you do, and for the most part they do, but sometimes they don't. If you've been following the Snapmaker U1, you know the Kickstarter campaign was a huge success. It generated something like $20 million in backing. Now, there are already a lot of videos out there, but they're mostly covering the beta units, and I'm not really interested in beta units, let alone testing them. I'd much rather wait until I can use an actual real production 3D printer, and that's exactly what this is. So everything that you're going to see in this video is based on this specific production unit right out of the box, and it's what you should expect when you receive your U1. Unboxing the U1 actually felt a little premium. The packaging was clean and it was well organized. The assembly process wasn't too bad. It took about 45 minutes and I took my time reading through the manual carefully, and honestly, the manual is actually really good. It's full color, lots of photos, very user-friendly, and it doesn't leave a lot of room for mistakes. Attaching the spool holders and the filament feeders on the left and right sides was pretty straightforward. Everything fit together well. Most people I don't think will have any trouble with it at all. The tool heads were the most intricate part of the assembly. Not complicated, but I think novices will want to ensure that they pay close attention to the instructions. And once assembled, the machine actually feels pretty solid. The molded panels look great, the interior feels clean and finished, and the whole design seems well thought out. It doesn't feel cheap, it feels like something that they spent a lot of time on. I love the direction that the industry is going, getting away from the exposed extrusions and wiring and moving towards these types of aesthetically pleasing enclosures. So much nicer to look at this unit on the bench than the printers of just a few years ago. Filament loading on this printer is simple. You simply just insert the filament into one of the 4 numbered feeders on the left or right side, and it automatically pulls it through the system just like you would expect. It's just so nice to have these conveniences nowadays. Snapmaker included 4 500-gram spools, black, white, red, and yellow, and I tested it with full-size spools of Polymaker filament as well, and they worked without issue too. Now, having the feeders on both sides helps keep the machine nice and compact, and the process of feeding filament into the system is intuitive. Now let's talk about the Toolchanger, which of course is the core feature of the U1 and probably the reason most people are even watching this video. Unlike AMS style systems that pull filament from multiple spools through a single tool head, the U1 physically swaps out entire tool heads using a tool changing carriage. Now, each one of the 4 tool heads can be preloaded with different filament or materials and preheated and ready to go. When it's time to change colors or materials, the printer parks the current tool, grabs the new one, and resumes printing, usually in about 5 to 7 seconds. Now, that might not sound like much, but if you've ever used an AMS or an MMU system, you know how long traditional swaps can take. Unload, retract, purge, load, prime, cut, it all adds up. Those delays can add 30 to 60 plus seconds per change, and on multicolor prints and maybe even multiple swaps per layer, that gets expensive fast. Tool changers eliminate all of that, and all of the time that it's running is pretty much spent printing. And then there's the filament waste. AMS-style filament swaps require massive amounts of purge to get clean transitions between colors. Now, you can easily burn through hundreds of grams of filament, even on small prints, just managing those color changes. With a tool changer like the U1, the waste is minimal. Since each tool head is dedicated to a single filament or material, you don't need to flush the hot end between swaps. Most of the time, you're left with just a few small purge blobs tucked away in the back of the machine from the initial priming. Now, that is a massive savings in both time and material. It also opens the door for more reliable multi-material and multicolor printing. Things like TPU and ABS or PLA, you can mix and match without worrying about cross-contaminating because each tool is isolated. For anyone who's been dreaming about practical multi-material printing, this is the appeal. It's faster, it's cleaner, and it finally feels like something that we can use day to day without babysitting every switch. The first print I ran was Snapmaker's included 4-color Dragon model. It came pre-sliced, likely with tune settings for their own filament, but I still think it's a valid print for our first impression. After all, this is exactly what Snapmaker thinks represents their machine in the best way. Now, when I started the print, I ran the full calibration and bed leveling sequence, which took about 20 minutes. It can take some time. The print came out beautifully. Clean surfaces, sharp transitions, and great overall quality. When I look at the layers, if they look like they're stacked like quarters, that's a really good sign. Next, I wanted something quick that I could just throw in and print with a different brand of filament. I wanted to know if the same results were reproducible outside of their pre-sliced G-code. So I sliced a fun little Halloween pumpkin benchy that I found on MakerWorld, and I did that in their Snapmaker Orca slicer using orange, black, and green Polymaker filament, and ran that again. And look at that. I mean, it came out absolutely perfect. 2 prints, hundreds of tool changes, minimal purge. It just worked. It's exactly what you're expecting. Okay, here are a few specs on the machine. The build volume on the U1 is about 270 millimeters cubed. That puts it in the middle to large category, slightly above that average, like 256 millimeters that we used to see all the time. It uses the classic 300C hot end and 100C bed combination that we're so used to seeing over the past few years. That means you'll be able to print with things like PLA and PTG, TPU, ABS, ASA, pretty much everything except those exotic engineering grade filaments. Ultimately, it's not a high temperature printer, but it covers the vast majority of real world use cases. Snapmaker advertises it printing at speeds of up to 500 millimeters per second, but we haven't gotten there yet. This is just my first impressions, and I think it was probably only printing around 200 to 250 millimeters per second, but we'll get it there. It has a 3.5-inch colored touchscreen that's beautiful, it's bright, it's sharp, and it has pretty good viewing angles from the left to right, above and below. Now, there's also a 2-megapixel built-in camera on the inside, and that's, of course, like you'd expect for remote monitoring and time lapses. You get a double-sided flexible steel PEI build plate by default, and the nozzle is a stainless steel 0.4 millimeter. It also includes auto filament feeding, like we talked about before, but it has RFID recognition for Snapmaker branded spools, which is a nice touch. When I installed the included spools, the printer immediately recognized them and displayed the correct color on the screen. Now, we've kind of seen that with other printer brands like Bambu, but it is nice to see this more and more. You also get all of the expected modern features. You get filament runout detection, power loss recovery, and smart safety systems. If a tool head doesn't dock correctly or it detaches mid-print, the printer is going to pause and wait for you to address it. And yes, this machine runs Klipper. That's worth pointing out because it shows just how far these ecosystems have evolved. A few years ago, Klipper-based machines felt like community science projects. Now companies are building polished, high-performance printers on top of it, and Snapmaker's implementation here, it feels mature. Now let's talk about a few of those small little things that I didn't care for at first. None of these are critical, none of these are super important, but they're worth mentioning. First, the noise. That was the thing that I spotted right away. There was a whine coming from inside the machine. Hard to kind of pinpoint where it's coming from. It's going to be some sort of a fan. Whether that's mine or whether that's all of them, I do not know, but I thought I'd share it. It's bearable, but here inside of a studio when you're trying to film, kind of annoying. Second, the software pairing. Now, I wasn't able to connect the printer to the slicer over my network. The touchscreen just showed a spinning loading indicator and never actually connected. Now, this isn't critical. It's early, and this is maybe something we should expect, and I'm sure that Snapmaker will get that fixed before any of the machines actually arrive. In order to get my prints over there, I did have to use the USB stick, which I don't know, that feels somewhat normal still, but I did want to point that out because I'm just sharing my experience here. Okay, my final thoughts on my first impression of unboxing the U1 here. If you back this printer on Kickstarter and you receive something like this, you've got a home run. This thing feels solid. It looks great and it prints really well right out of the box. If you've been waiting for a tool changer that doesn't require a full custom build, endless tinkering, I've seen that a lot lately, or one that empties your bank account, this is a seriously amazing option. And let me say this again, I haven't put it through any long-term use yet. It literally just arrived. These are just my first impressions, and I'll definitely have more content coming soon. Now, what I'd really like to do is I'd like to compare the Snapmaker U1 against some other machines in the market, especially I think the Bambu Lab H2D with the dual nozzle configuration. I'm thinking of testing print quality, total print time, and purge waste as kind of a head-to-head comparison. So if that's a video or something that you think that you're interested in, you'd like to see, definitely hit that like and that subscribe button and turn your bell on so you'll be notified when I drop that video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And also, let me give a big thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members. I couldn't do this without you. YouTube also wants you to watch this one, so you should go do that. Binge all of my videos. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.